All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching Daybreak. In case you're just tuning in, what is English?
I know, right?
You're right in time for a conversation around friendship as women. Last week, the boys had their turn. Today, it is the girls. And the conversation, the topic is just friendship. What does that look like to you as a woman? Tweet us at Citizen TV Kenya, at Trevon Bija, at Zinzi_K, at Citizen TV Kenya, rather. And our official hashtag is Daybreak. Let me introduce the amazing women sitting here from all different walks of life. On the upper side, I'll begin with that. We have Rose Renee, she is a student from Strathmore. She's representing the students. It's so good to have you here. You're seated with powerful women, even yourself. So it's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right. And we also have on the far end, we have Bessie Kuri. She is Miss Kenya Plus World 2019 finalist. It's good to have you. And at the center of it, we have Irma Maringo. She works with the Africa Youth Trust. Good to have all three of you here. Seated closer to us right here, we have Ogutu Okudo, who is part of the Upstream Oil and Gas Woman of the Year in Kenya. A male-dominated sector. I cannot wait to hear specifically from you as well. And lastly, we also have Wandia Kimani. She's the project lead, Agriculture and Climate Justice, Africa Youth Trust. Ladies, thank you so much for your time this morning and being here. So let's begin with, and you're holding the mic, so I'm going to start automatically with the ladies that are holding the mic, and I'll start with you, then come to you, Renee. What is friendship to you?
Well, what is friendship? You know, I think generally one of the most important things we have to look at friendship like any other relationship, whether it's father and wife, father and child, it's, you know, between you and the Lord as well. There's different kinds of relationships. And what I base friendship off is finding that mutual area of understanding, not mutual area of interest as many people will say, but understanding, accepting each other for who you are and being able to come together and just have a good time with it and be able to see what that can lead to. I know this conversation is going to get very heavy and talking about some of the expectations, but I think just like generally in any relationship, that's what a friendship is. Mutual understanding, coming together, and really just appreciating each other.
Beautiful. So Renee, for you, from where you stand, what is friendship to you? How would you define who a friend is?
I'd really like to say that to me, a friend is someone that I can love, that I can trust, that I can feel has loyalty to me, someone that I have commonness with in some areas, and also someone that we have differences with, in that we embrace our differences and we are able to complement each other. What I lack, they have, and what they have, I lack. And so it's a 50-50 and it's a win-win for both of us.
All right, Irma, let me come to you. Yes, let's pass on the mic. Do you think friendships are situational, that I'm your friend because I know Irma has this and I can get this? Unknowingly, sometimes, right, I become friends with unknowingly because I know Irma can do something for me or she will be there when I need this, and vice versa. Do you think friendships are situational?
I think it's 50-50.
Right.
For some friendships, it's based on, like what these ladies said, mutual understanding, love, companionship. But sometimes, you know, women come together based on what Zinzi has and want to be around that, you know? Yeah.
Wandia, do you think friendships between women are different compared to friendships between men?
Yes, I would say they're different because the way we've been conditioned as women is to be more affectionate, to be more open with one another in that sense. And men are conditioned to be sort of detached with their emotions, so they don't share as much in terms of depth. But then you look at the stereotypes that the world puts in front of us in terms of how women relationships are looked at. They tend to be portrayed as animosity, while men's relationships are portrayed as, you know, camaraderie or something of the sort. So they are different in that sense, but they still have similarities.
I was reading a study that said that women friendships are more complicated and tough and more dramatic. Do you agree?
In fact, that's what I was about to bring out. But I was just preparing not to be lynched about it. Because when she says that women friendship are deeper, there's a perception that your friendship is more superficial. You may share many issues, but guys tend to close up. But when the fallout comes in, it's vicious. Is that something
I wouldn't put a blanket statement on that because, again, it's different. It just depends on what kind of person you are and what kind of relationship you have with this friend of yours. So I wouldn't put a blanket
Do you
statement
have
on
that one friend who you can think of the top of your head that you tell everything? And how much do you share?
I'm the kind of person who believes that you don't need to share everything with a friend.
So then you're not that open again.
I can share if I want to, but there's some things I would like to keep for myself, just because I'm also the kind of person who likes to keep some things for myself as an introvert.
Have you ever been betrayed at some point? Yeah, Ogutu is shaking her head.
When you say that friendship,
she almost threw something at me. But we also haven't heard from Bessie back there, just to find out what is the definition of friendship.
Well, I was going to say that I think it all boils down to what is a definition of friendships. Well, if you really can't share things with someone, you're not friends. We need to put a line between companionship, acquaintances, and friends. Those are different. You could be my colleague. We share, we spend almost all day together, so we know each other. You think you know me, but you really don't know me.
That's companionship.
That's companionship. That's acquaintances. We are acquainted to each other. We know each other. But a friend, for me, a friend is a different sort of connection. We really don't have to have similarities in terms of what we do or where we work or our interests. It's sort of, you will find that mostly you will have similar interests, but then that doesn't become the thing that brings you together. What brings you together is the spark, the connection between you people, how open, how free you feel with someone. So we need to define, most of these things we are calling friendships, or I can't tell this, or when we get into arguments, they become worse, they become messy. It's because initially we were not friends.
But you see, Bessie, the main concern has always been, if it's a circle of friends, I may be closer to Irma, and then Irma is super close to you. So if I share my issues with Irma and you speak to Irma as well, then she shares my issues with you, then now I feel betrayed by Irma.
True, but
that
then
circle of friendship, the reason why it's always a bloodline is because nobody knows how far to go and at what point to stop.
Wait, even Ogutu, before we come to that, Ogutu is throwing a few disagreements.
I'm moving back slowly because I can see the eyes she's giving me. I'm thinking, all right.
You know, I think it's very important, first of all, for us to be able to, we need to move away from the language when we say stereotypically women's friendships are superficial, one.
And vicious, cut fights.
Because immediately you negate a conversation. If we start this conversation on that footstep, then this conversation will not bring out what we really want to understand, and which is, can we have girls' clubs? Do they exist? And how can they be of mutual benefit? You know, this conversation should not be more about the viciousness of women or within friendships or supporting each other when you have issues. Why don't we look at what truly the boys' club defined? Successful men coming together with mutual understanding, being able to complement each other from whatever fields they were in. And that's how we should look at it. So we can change the tone of the conversation in that direction. And then also, secondly, we can't ignore what society, the role society has to play when you're nurturing a human being, whether it's a boy or a girl. I work in oil and gas, so it's a very male-dominated sector. And one of the most important things I learn, and when I talk to young women and girls, is from age 3 and age 4, when boys are playing with trains and planes and being told, you can be an engineer, you can do this and that, girls are being given dolls and being told to play house. And you're being told to look at other women and girls as your competition, because what has society defined for the longest time as the role of a woman? You work hard, but you eventually get married. But you see, we're changing now and the world is changing. And I give a very similar close example to, for example, when people talk about reverse racism or black and white. In America over 50 years ago, that was a whole different conversation. But now you can see how race, till the point you can have a president who is black. And that's how also with women, just because society has always defined us to be competitive, just because of the nurturing at the household from a very young age, even in schools, we're now changing this, and so it doesn't have to be like that.
So how we are nurtured.
Fair enough, and I like the approach that you're taking in terms of the nurturing of the women. But the other concern is there some truth to it? I'm one of those very straightforward people. You see, the thing is, you may say that we don't want to take this conversation in that direction, but we've seen certain instances, and I'm not saying on the boys' club it's not there. We have that as well, but we've always had hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. You know? It's one of those. It is the reality, and it's with us.
It is with us, but it's a stereotype we're breaking. You see, we're moving and we're breaking the barriers that have existed. When you say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, that's the same way someone could say, for example, in the world we live in today, even in America 50 years ago, that a black person is not able to work as hard as a white person, because that was the stereotype then.
Yeah.
But you see, if you come to our context now and you see, that is changing.
Do you still have the same friends you used to have when you're not in the oil industry?
Some, yes, absolutely.
Are they as close as they used to be?
And what I say friendship is about nourishment. It's not reciprocity. It is you have your certain needs, I have my certain needs.
It is not reciprocity?
It's not reciprocity, because if I give to you to expect back, then what I'm giving you was not really from me to you, but was more of a question of I wanted something back.
Right, let's hear from Irma. Irma is really holding that mic. Go ahead.
I wanted to answer the question on how what you were saying to her about you tell a friend something and then the other person tells. You should have that respect. If I'm your confidant, why should I be sharing that with someone else?
Sometimes it's even just innocently. Yeah, she's going through something that is similar to what I'm going through, and then you remember, by the way, Trevor also told me that he's going through this and this and this. This is what he did.
It shouldn't be your place.
At some point, when that story comes back to me, I'll be livid with you. So that breaks the friendship.
That, like she said, that means you were not friends to begin with.
So what if then three of you are very tight friends, but he said both of you seem to be tighter, so you share things a bit more. But when you and Trevor hang out, you know, it kind of spilled.
Yeah,
that, you know, Bessie's going through
these
this
things
as well.
do happen. I don't know. I'm not sure of the kind of country people are living in, but it happens all the time.
It's natural. If I know the three of us are friends and two of us are tighter, or even if the two of us are very tight and you become like the third wheel in the friendship, it is natural that sometimes some things will get to be passed across. We all have these situations. But then this boils down to the nature of your friendship. So today I find out my good friend shared a thing with you that really did not concern you. So how I react to her is dependent on the friendship I have with her. So again, back to the definition of friendship. For me, friendships are very deep. So I have people around me. Like for me, I have friends for different things. I have 4 close friends. These 4 close friends, yes, they know each other, but we're not in the same circle. They're different people. I have friends for different situations. I have a friend when I want to be, you know, crazy and all that and discuss everything, I talk to. I have a friend who is my spiritual guide. When I want the one I pray with, the one we share with, that's the friend for that. I have another friend that we just connected. We really don't have similar interests on all this, but when I want deep advice and conversations, that's the person I go to. Yes, they all know each other. Yes, they will sit down sometimes and discuss and say, oh, did you know? And this is like, oh, she didn't tell me that. That's what you're saying. I didn't know that. But then that's your problem if you have issues with it. For me, this is the kind of friend I have, and I feel more comfortable sharing this with. And I shouldn't feel sorry about it, because I feel more comfortable telling her about this and not you. I'm sorry.
So, Wandia, would you also agree with Bessie? Do you also have a friend, if it's a friend for Biashara, you know, I can get advice on Biashara from her. If it's a spiritual friend, if it's a friend who, you know, when you want to go out, she's the one you call. Have you also sort of categorized your friends in that way as well? And is it okay?
I think it is okay, because I have separated my friends in that sense. I have friends for business. I have a closer circle. I have a circle, and then I have a closer circle, and then I have friends for business. I have friends for, you know, social impact space. I have friends from school. Different. I think it's okay, because you became friends based out of situation, so you cannot remove that essence out of it. And then when you look at the expertise they give you, some people are good at something while others are good at something else. So you always have to seek the best advice, or the best person to give you the needs that you're looking for, right?
Renee, as a student, how does friendship look like for most university girls? Would you agree with what has been discussed so far here? Do you sort of resonate with something or disagree with something?
I think what I'd say is I wouldn't like to speak on behalf of all of them, but from a personal opinion...
Hold the mic closer to your mouth.
Sorry.
There you go.
From a personal opinion, I'd like to agree with what Irma said concerning, let's say, you as Zinzi, you're close to me, I'm close to her. So what you tell me is what I end up telling her. But in my opinion, I really think that there's a borderline to what you should share about another friend.
Yeah.
It's not in my position to share what you have told me. It should be your decision to share with the rest. And in any case, if I really feel like I do have to share that, I don't think I have to disclose that, you know, Zinzi told me this. I could go say, I have a friend who's going through this and I don't know how to help her. What would you do if you are that friend, you know? And yes, I do agree that sometimes it actually is situational. And I'd like to second what she said in that you have a friend for, you know, different things.
Different seasons.
Yes,
All right.
because I also have friends that I'd look for when I want to, you know, go be wild or something, when I want to get advice, if it's spiritual.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ogutu, you know, I'm still on you because there's the issue that you said it's not supposed to be based on reciprocity. She says it's supposed to be symbiotic. Then if it's not based on reciprocity, can you even call out your friends, tell them this is wrong and you need to stop? And how will you do it? As who then? Because if it's not based on a mutual agreement, how do you call me out?
Any relationship where you decide that you're going to base it off you give to get, it's never going to work. Nourishment is, I think nourishment is the enclave word that kind of puts everything, escapulates everything together, which is you have different needs. And I will be able to attend to your different needs based on the basis of it's nourishing each other. I want to support you. I want to listen to you. I want to assist you. I want to help you where I can. But
and
also
you don't expect the same in return.
The thing is, if you are a person and you want to be that person to give that in return, fantastic, great. But I'm not going to be in a friendship where I'm going to base it off expectation of what I'll be able to get back. That I've learned. For myself, I work in a very cutthroat industry. Women who I've actually worked with have gone behind my back, tried to sabotage my businesses, and it's okay. It's something that I've come to say, you have to move on and carry forward. But I think also what's important is, even when you look at this boys' club, which is what has brought us all here together, even amongst this boys' club, I'm sure they also have different friends for different purposes. Friendships, I'm not trying to say are like special purpose vehicles, but you also have different friends who cater to different things. And I think it's so important when you look at them and you see why it's so important is because as women, we need to support each other. We need to push ourselves and be able to have these kinds of conversations and discuss what do we need to do to scale up? What do we need to do to ensure that, why is it 5-6 men? I've never seen the likes of some of the most powerful women in this country doing the same. And we're talking about within different sectors. We're not just talking about embrace women coming together, women politicians. We're talking about strong women politicians, titans of industry as well, talking about people who are involved in the social impact space as well. Something in common. And when you have that, you also see you push each other. You're supposed to edge each other on. I say your network is your net worth. The people who you spend as much time with are going to determine where you're going and the places you're going. And you look at the group of those gentlemen, and it says a lot to you.
So go to the women that you also sort of hang around with, your friends. Are there also women of high profile, such as yourself, women who are also in the industry or are, what's what I'm looking for, as powerful as you are? Because like you said, you're in oil and gas. It's a male-dominated industry. So does your circle of friendships, especially with girls, how does it look like? Is it also other powerful women from different places?
Well, anyone who knows me personally and knows my friends are fantastic, powerful women, all go-getters, whatever sector they're working in, very ambitious, go-getters, very well-driven. And that's what I feel also pushes me and channels me. The minute when I knew I was coming here, I even suggested I wanted one of my friends to be able to come on board, because that's what friendship is. That's what we're changing what sisterhood has always been defined as.
If it wasn't for your title and your success in the oil and business industry, would you have those same women as your friends? Or better yet, do you have women who were your friends 10 years ago today?
These are the friends I have now. I've known them for like 10 years. Yeah. Some I've known for, a majority I've known for 10 years. We've come from far. And we still nurture each other. We still edge each other on. And we are going to take over Kenya. It's just a matter of time because we're pushing ourselves. We know where we're going, but we also don't let that conflict, because what usually happens is you find someone going in one direction. Instead of being complementary, you now want to compare yourself. And comparison, as Theodore Roosevelt once said, comparison is the thief of joy.
Right. Bessie, I can tell you really want to jump on this conversation, but we need to take a quick commercial break. All right, ladies? We're going to take a commercial break, gather our thoughts again, and then we're going to jump straight back into this. Remember, you can also participate in this conversation from wherever you are at home. Friendship is the discussion, as you've seen, at Citizen TV Kenya. Our Twitter handle, 2422, is our SMS line.
And also, when we come back, we'll give you some extracts of what the boys said, and it's very different from what I'm hearing around here. We'll come back in just a bit.